So I am Chrissy Smith. I am the Director of Canine Operations at Duo Dogs. I started off as a puppy raiser. So I've been with Duo Dogs since 2005. I raised a puppy, then I raised another puppy and another puppy. And then in 2013, after every year raising another dog, they asked me if I would like a job. And I said, absolutely. And I have been there ever since. I absolutely love my job. I love working with the animals, and I especially love the partnering the dogs that we train with the client. That's when the real magic begins. So as I said, some of the things that I do I started off as a trainer. So over the years, I've gotten a couple of promotions, and now I'm the director. So what I do at Duo Dogs is I lead the trainers and teach them how to train the dogs, teach them the different aspects for the different dogs that we train. And then I also am in charge of the breeding program. So we have some breeding girls, and we go out and we find our breeding boys. And we have some great litters of puppies, which is very fun. Our puppies are watched by whelper helpers 24 hours a day. So they have shifts, they come, they play with the dog, they do neurostimulation, they do socialization with the puppies, which is great. And I also am in charge of partnering the specific dogs with the clients. So people often ask, how do you choose the dogs for the clients? Well, there's a lot involved with that. So we look at temperament of the dog, of course. We like for the temperament and that to match the clients. So for example, if we've got a real happy-go-lucky dog, that always wants to move and go, we will, partner that type of energy with the client that has that energy. If we have a client that's more kicked back, that likes to stay home and watch TV, we'll partner a dog that has that type of temperament. And if there's a little bit of difference in the temperament from the dog to the client, after about a year, it's amazing. Their temperaments seem to mesh. So,
yeah. I can attest to that.
Right. Yeah. So some of the things that we do at our organization, let's talk about facility dogs first, because I want to focus on the service dogs, because that has a lot to do with the dog that Tina has, Thunder. So our facility dogs go to hospitals, schools, CACs, courtroom dogs. So let me tell you a little bit about, I'm sure you understand hospitals. Okay, so I don't know if anyone is familiar with Cardinal Glennon Hospital, but we have a facility dog there named Thor. If you guys are familiar with Mercy Hospital, we have a dog named Odin there. Children's Hospital, we have Casey and Opal. We have so many dogs in hospitals. So what these dogs do is they will go and cheer up. They go with a person that works there. So there's a team of two that handle the dogs, and there's a primary handler and a secondary handler, and the dog lives with the primary handler and then goes to work every day, and they utilize those dogs in so many different aspects. So if we have children that are afraid to go into the MRI, these facility dogs will jump up on the MRI table. Now, of course, they go through it with it going, but or if a child is in the cancer wing and they have to have a port put in or sit there and do chemotherapy, the facility dog or the hospital dog will go and sit with them and be with them throughout their whole procedure. So these dogs have been very, very helpful in these hospital settings. We have dogs that go into schools. So teachers, counselors, principals, they all utilize these dogs in so many different ways, with just children that are in counseling sessions, they use these dogs to engage in extracurricular activity. They use them as an incentive for good grades. You do good on your test. You get to spend 5 minutes with the dog. So these dogs have been very successful. So the CACs is a child advocacy centers and the courtroom dogs. So these dogs have special roles. A lot of these dogs are for children. So these children have gone through horrific experiences and are now trying to go through the system to get the help and the justice that they deserve. So these dogs will be with these children from the beginning to the end of their journey. And they have found that these CAC children advocacy center dogs actually help these children open up and tell their story that they won't tell people, won't tell adults. They're pretty closed off, even with the forensic interviewers. So they have been over the past 6-7 years really, really opening up into the courtroom. So you'll see a lot more of these type of dogs. So there's our facility dogs. These dogs touch a lot of people's lives. And then we have our service dogs. So very special indeed dogs. So we have mobility dogs that help people that are in wheelchairs, that may need some counterbalance with a special balance harness, that have a little bit, maybe have the type of back or whatever where they can't bend over to pick up items. They may be in walkers, they may be in wheelchairs. There's a lot of different mobility type of dogs. This is the type of dog that Tina has with Thunder. So these dogs, I want to say probably one of their most important skills that they do is retrieves. So we're talking, when you drop a pin, you just, you pick it up. But for a lot of our clients, it's a big deal to be able to get your service dog to pick up dropped items for you, to pull a laundry basket to you, to pull a door open, to bump drawers closed. It adds a level of independence to our clients that may seem small to a lot of people, but are really, really not really a big deal. They offer and add that independence where you don't have to ask somebody, hey, can you pick up my pen for me? Yes, everyone wants to help, but there's just that something about that being able to just send your dog to do these tasks for you. So we also do hearing dogs. So our hearing dogs are for our clients that have hearing loss, profound or slight, or completely deaf. A lot of our clients have cochlear implants. They wear hearing aids. When they come home at night, they want to take these devices out, kind of like kicking off your shoes or just relaxing. They want to take the devices out mainly at night. So a lot of our hearing dogs are utilized to, so these dogs will alert their client to a sound that they hear, a door knocking, a doorbell ringing, a phone ringing, the microwave, the washing machine, a fire alarm, a tornado alarm, these type of things that are a constant, continuous sound. So they'll bump the client on the leg with their nose. The client says, where? And the dog will take them to the sound. Unless it is like a fire alarm, then they'll take them to the door. So very nice to have a hearing dog. They're usually a little bit more hyper than our regular other dogs because they got to be very alert to the sounds going on. And then we have our PTSD for veterans. So the PTSD dogs for veterans, pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought someone said something. They have a unique job. So a long time ago, we used to train, or they used to, everyone, the whole industry trained the PTSD dogs to do, I want to say, like hyper vigilant type of work, that they would look in a room ahead of time before the veteran would go in, or they'd look down the hall or look behind them. But they found the ADI, Assistance Dogs International, found that these types of skills were creating or keeping the veterans even further from integrating into society. So we totally revamped our PTSD program along the lines with the ADA requirements. And now what our dogs do is they have learned to recognize an individual's triggers, and to recognize when their clients are getting agitated or starting to feel uncomfortable or getting nervous. And there's a thing called weight therapy or pressure therapy, and where the dogs will come up and they'll put their whole head on your lap, and just rest it there, or they'll jump up on their lap, and the weight of the dog is very, very soothing for our clients. They'll jump up into bed and wake them up when they're having nightmares at the beginning of a nightmare. So these dogs are really, really important. And our program with the PTSD dogs is really thriving. And in a lot of ways, it's so much better than it used to be. So those are the type of service dogs that we do. We do the facility and the assistance dogs. And so I want to tell you a couple of stories. So we had a dog named Thunder, and he had a brother named Jet. And Thunder almost didn't make the program. Thunder was a handful. His puppy raisers were very, very awesome. Bonnie and Keith Hargrove puppy raised Thunder. It was their first dog that they ever puppy raised for us. They were an older couple, lovely, very generous with their time. And they came to class every week, and we were working Thunder, and Thunder was a little extra. And they were like, I don't know if he's going to make it. And I said, don't worry, you'll make it. Don't worry. So Thunder comes in for advanced training. And Christina Rustenhaven, one of our other trainers, trained Thunder. And at first she was like, interesting. But I'll tell you what, within 6 months, he came along and thrived. He was thriving. Whenever we're getting ready to place one of our dogs with a client, we have a wait list. So our wait list is usually, we tell everyone, and it's the industry standard, it's about 2 years. So Tina was on the wait list for a while, and we saw her on there, and we thought, you know what, let's start training Thunder for Tina. So what the good thing about our training is that all of our dogs have all of the basic skills. They have excellent advanced or obedient skills. And then we'll start like specifically training for different things. So we knew that Tina needed lots of retrieves, a really, really good retrieve. And then we did some other extra things too, the bump and the pull. Those are kind of common things that all the dogs have. So then it was time to have our team training. So Tina and her husband came into team training, and they met Thunder. And it was a tough team training, excuse me. All of our team trainings are pretty lengthy, and they used to be really, really intense because we had a whole group of people.
Exhausting.
Yes, they have gotten a lot better, because now we do one-on-one with the trainer that trained the dog, myself, and the team the dog is going to. So it's really nice because we can focus all of our attention on one client. The days are not so long, it's half days. A lot of our clients, a whole day is exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, and it's stressful, and it hurts the body, and it's too much. So now we're doing 3, no more than 4 hours, and that's with breaks in between, and it seems to be really, really working well. And our team training for our individual clients is 2 weeks. So the first week is, well, I want to say the first 2 to 3 days is at Duo, and we are introducing the dog to the client. We are teaching the client all the dog's skills. We are showing them how to work and meshing them together. And then they get to take the dog home for the first night, usually about the second or third night, it depends. And then this dog becomes a whole different dog for them at home.
Mhm.
You see a very controlled dog at Duo with the client. And then when they go home, all of a sudden they've got a big puppy. So, but it's a lot of fun. They get to learn the personality of the dog. We have them just bond with the dog, not to work on any skills, because we want to make sure that we're there to help work any hitches or problems out. And then they come the next day. Now, the first 3 days when they come to team training, they're early. They're early. But the day after they have the dog and they come, they're late. Because it's it's a whole nother thing to put a dog into your schedule that you haven't had before. Even if you have your own dogs, a service dog is a little bit different. So it's always interesting to hear on Thursdays when they come in, all the stories, to hear what the dogs did, what they didn't do, how they played, if they groomed them. They always, if they pooped or not, how fast they ate. It's very interesting. I love those days. And then we get right back to training. So what we do now is we have found that after about 3 days in Duo, now we're going to start going out in public with the team. Because this is where it's important. We know the dogs work at Duo, that's their home. So now we're going out in public and we're troubleshooting and we're figuring out what the client needs, and we're tapering and changing the different commands, or trying to make something easier, or trying to see, well, maybe this piece of equipment we better, maybe a longer leash, maybe a shorter leash, just to tailor it to our specific client and that dog team. And then we start going to another place, and then another place. And then the second week, Tina, and this is interesting, we go to your house. So we go to the house. We meet you there because you've already got the dog. We go to your house and we start working and troubleshooting what that dog does in your house for you. If you say, hey, I want my dog to open the sliding glass door, is that possible? We say, well, yeah, let's train the dog to do it now. Let's work it through. Let's work out the kinks. Hey, awesome. We've had clients that have had elevators in their house. Hey, do you think the dog can push the button? Well, I don't know. They can push plates. So let's make it happen. So then we'll
Now, what if the client is out of state? I'm sorry to interrupt.
So if the client is out of state, we do some extensive research on their homes. We get videotapes of their homes. We'll talk with them several times ahead of time on specifics that they want to utilize the dog for. So we start training for these specifics ahead of time. Okay. I have to say one good thing that came out of this pandemic is Zoom. So it really is. So now we can have someone on Zoom with their phone, at their long distance, and we can have a trainer on the other end watching the client and the dog work together in their home, and we can troubleshoot and work things out. We can send written training notes. We can see it live. So that's what we do instead of going to their house.
Okay.
I am a fan of going to where they live. And there have been instances where a client that was out of state, it was like there was a hiccup, there was a problem, and guess what? I flew out. So, we want our teams to succeed. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for us, is making sure that team is a Duo, a success. So I really love what I do. sometimes we have dogs that we've trained for so many different specific things. We had a dog go to a young lady that was in a wheelchair and had been in a wheelchair her whole life. And when she got her attendant or her parents put her into bed, she could sit up a little bit, but sometimes she tended to lilt over. And if her parents weren't there, she was, until they came in. So we never taught this dog Tackle to do this, but we got a call saying that Tackle had learned to push her back up. He would put his whole body against hers and just lean into her, and she would right herself. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what these dogs can do. They're very smart. It's amazing. We had a hearing client one time. Her name was Lou, and she was with her person. And we got a call from her father that said, and he said, Lou saved my daughter's life. And we were like, wow, what happened? And he said, there was a tornado. And it was at night. My daughter was, at home. I don't know what she was doing, but she wasn't watching TV or didn't have her phone with her, and this may have even been before they did the alerts on the phone, and Lou heard the sirens going off, and just kept bumping her on the leg. And her client kept saying, what, and where, still didn't know what was going on. And then she just kept at her so much that she finally, I guess, just came up for air, looked outside, turned on the radio, and went down to the basement. And it was like the tornado went over, and it was pretty devastating. I mean, it gives me chills just even to think about it, but her dad was so grateful. I mean, we were grateful too. It's amazing. I mean, it is amazing. I'm sure Tina can probably has lots of stories of some little extra things that Thunder have done for her that we probably didn't train. So one of the good things about our team trainings also is that we teach our clients how to kind of train the dog themselves for different things and troubleshoot things themselves. For example, I've gotten calls before saying, I really I wanted my dog to take off my shoes and socks. And we can certainly train that if a client asks us to, but this particular client hadn't asked us to, so we hadn't trained it. And she gave us a call and said, he's taking my socks and shoes off now, and he's helping me pull my pants leg down. I was like, really? Very good, So we teach our clients how to think outside the box of things that they may want to utilize this dog for. Forget the fact that they're gorgeous creatures and that they're very loving, very great companions, and that's just a bonus. So, in fact, I have 4 of them right here on my bed. Let's see. Yeah. But like I said, I love my job. I love working with clients. I love working with the dogs. So I could go on and on and on about it, but I am going to see if you guys have any questions for me, anything that you're curious about. I am happy to answer.
Well, I have a question. You mentioned about a dog for being in a wheelchair. At the time when I got Thunder, I was walking.
Yes.
But now I'm in a wheelchair full time. So can a dog like pull me or adapt to the wheelchair? I know Thunder has adapted. He's comfortable around it, he's not skittish, but he would pull me when I was on the rollator. He would pull me up a handicap ramp. We do that, what I would say. pull. Now, normally you don't want the dog to pull, but
Right.
this way he would pull, and he would help me when I would go to get my hair cut, because they have those little pads that they stand on. Well, it was really hard for me to go across them, and you know that we always drag our feet, but he would pull me across all of those. But anyway, so I was just wanting to know if a dog could help me in a wheelchair.
So yes, so we don't teach wheelchair pulling dogs, but we do teach the client and the dog how to work together to get over little humps, like you're talking about, like the mat, like helping you, assist you to get up the ramp somewhat. Okay, if you're talking about a manual wheelchair. Yeah. So but we used to train wheelchair pulling dogs, but we don't do that now, because honestly there hasn't been a huge need for it, because most people these days get electric scooters or electric chairs. There's even manual chairs that have a little bit of a motor assist. So it's almost like it's a manual chair, and then if you need a little extra, you can click on a little motor for a little extra assist. But as you said, like with Thunder, we can teach small pulls like that, or like once you get going, sometimes if you hold on to the dog, they'll kind of keep you going. And also we teach them how to retrieve items, and they can bring it right to your lap for you. Or with some of our clients, they can't bend over at all, like they're strapped into the wheelchair. So our dogs will get on their lap with the retrieve item in their mouth, so they can bring it right to them, because they can't reach for it. So there are some little extra things that we do. Thunder has just adapted really well.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Marcy, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm really enjoying this presentation and learning a lot. And I have two questions. One is, do you look for particular breeds of dogs to train? And the second is, do you have any that help with visually impaired people?
So for the first question, yes, we look for retrieving type of dogs. So we do Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers. Mostly labs, because that's what we have in our breeding program. We have had Goldens in our program before, and we probably will again, but mostly labs. So we pick labs for not only the retrieving that's bred into them, but also for their temperament and the fact that they're very tractable and transferable. A lab, there are some dogs that get super, super attached and have a hard time going from person to person. So there's a lot of switches when we do our dogs. They're born at duo, and they have all the different welper helpers, and then they go to their puppy raisers, and then they come back in for advanced training, and then we give them to the client. There's a lot of switches. So with labs, you feed them, you treat them, well, and they're very, very loyal. They don't forget their puppy raisers, but they don't dwell on it like some dogs do. And they're very strong. They're strong dogs. So, and very food motivated. So you can get the lab to do just about anything with food, which is helpful. And then for the second part, I know there was two. What was the other one you said? Oh, visually. No, we don't do seeing eye dogs. So there are seeing eye dogs is a whole different type of dog. So assistance dogs, we want them to wait to do something until you ask them to do that. Okay, so we don't want them just like if you teach them to turn the light on and off. We don't want them going over there and blah, 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 without asking. For seeing eye dogs, they have to think, they have to do things, even if their client says they want to go straight. well, let's say there's something dangerous there. So they have to think and stop the client, even if the client thinks they want to keep going. So they have to be more independent.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Sonia, you got a question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, one question I have is that I live alone and I'm not sure I could take care of a dog. The other question is, I have trouble sometimes getting in and out of buildings that have supposedly have wheelchair accessible ADA entrances, like with automatic doors, but they're so badly laid out that it's impossible to get into the building. Like you'd have to go way over to your right to push the button, and then you can't get back to the door in time to go through it. So could a dog learn that kind of thing and assist?
Absolutely. Yes. So these dogs are really, it's very important that we teach them to bump. So dogs are really nosy. You put anything in front of them, they want to bump it, lick it, smell it. So we teach them to bump the push plates. And then we, once they can push the push plates with their nose, we take them to all kinds of different push plates and different door openings. And I agree. I've seen some situations where I was like, I pushed the button and I couldn't even get through before it started closing. So yeah. So the dogs can push the push plates from a distance. You can send the dog to the button so you can start getting your chair through. And even if the chair, or if the door started closing, we can teach the dog to come around and jump in front of you to get through in time. There's a lot of things that we can teach these dogs to do. And what we like to do is, I know that sometimes situations come up that we didn't plan for, because maybe you're going somewhere totally new that you've never been before. So you can't tell us ahead of time, hey, what about this? So that goes back to, we teach you to try and figure out different scenarios, or you give us a call. You give us a call and we help you figure those type of scenarios out. But yeah, as far as you living alone and you don't know if you could handle a dog, that would probably something that we could talk about one-on-one and look into a little further.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
They may just have to train you, Sonia. I'm just playing with you. That is, obviously it is a commitment, to have an animal in the house and to be responsible for one. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Marcy, did you have another follow-up question?
I do have another question. What if you have a family pet at home already? We have a boxer and we also have a cat.
So other pets are okay. So if you are getting a hearing dog, though, it's important that there's only one dog in the house. Cats are fine. Because a hearing dog has to, dogs like to play, and a hearing dog has to listen for sounds and initiate alerting you before you say anything. Now, you can have other dogs in the house for any other type of mobility, PTSD or whatever, because the dog can be playing, but then you'll say, hey, Thunder, or Thunder, do this, and the dog we train them to stop what they're doing and come, even if they're playing, sleeping or whatever. You call them and tell them what to do and they're back on. They don't know it's work, so but they can go back on.
Okay.
Somebody asked what the cost was. I thought I saw that on a comment or whatever. So we are a not for profit organization. So we don't charge for our dogs. So we get our dogs. We have figured out costs to raise our dogs, veterinary care, cost of training, equipment, vet costs. Everything. It's around almost $50,000 a dog. So we do fundraisers. We have some very generous donors. We get grants. We are a part of the United Way safety net. So That way we cover the cost of the dog. Now, once our clients get the dog, they do have to pay for their food themselves. They have to be able to cover vet costs. And it's around, if there's no major thing going on, it's around 16 to 1800 a year with food and just your basic preventatives and basic vet costs. But things can happen. It can be more. But yeah, so no cost to the client.
So then you go through like an application process. How do you determine who your client is?
So what happens is if you are interested, you call up a duo or you look on the website. There's a couple of different things to do. I like to mostly send people to the website first. There is a section there, and I'm not sure the buttons and the clicks to get there, but it's pretty easy to follow. Where it's an inquiry process where there's questions to kind of guide you to answer about what you're looking for, and then also telling you what we can and can't do. And then what'll happen is our client services social worker, Rebecca Hillman, will contact you and with more questions and trying to figure out if we can place a dog with you. And then after we're pretty sure that, hey, I think we can place a dog for this client, then we start the application process. So it goes pretty fast as long as, we find that our clients that are really want it can go really fast. There are certain things that we have to do in order to make sure that our dogs are properly taken care of and stuff. So, we have to do a background check. We do, information from your doctors, a couple of references, and like I said, if you're really interested, it goes really fast. So.
That is so really good, Christy, the information that you're providing to us. I know that there are a number of people that have come into our family. Everyone that comes onto our Zoom is really kind of a part of our family in some way because we're fighting HSP or PLS. But there are a number of people, as Marcy had asked those questions regarding visually impaired, and it's a neuropathy, an optical neuropathy. So are you familiar with any dog service trainers in the St. Louis area or anywhere else? Marcy's in Utah, but is there anyone that you might know of that you could offer as a recommendation that we could get started with on that kind of information, a website or something?
So we do serve dogs in any state. We also have dogs over in the UK, in fact, in Canada. So, but if you're looking for a seeing eye dog, so what you can do is you can get on Assistance Dogs International website. So it's ADI, Assistance Dogs International. And then it will, there's several different clicks and different things that you have to do. It asks you what state you're in. It asks you what type of dog you're looking for. But then once you go through all those things, it's funneling you down. It does send you to organizations that could be in your state. So,
Okay.
it starts off with like, are you in the northern hemisphere of the world or the southern? It's weird. It's like it starts globally and then it funnels you down. So yes,
That's so good.
Eye for the Dogs is a good website to look up.
Say that again.
What was that one?
Pardon
What was
me?
that one again?
Seeing
The last one you said?
Seeing Eye Dogs. Let's see. What's it called? Guide Dogs.
Okay.
Guide Dogs of America, I think it is.
Okay.
But like I said, and I could be wrong on that name. Guide Dogs of America. No, that sounds right.
Well, sometimes when we do, if you think about it and you have an extra moment after, we got the call or tomorrow or whenever, we sometimes get on the website and you're like, I don't know if that's really a reputable website, if that's really a reputable company. But if you happen to think about it and you've got those access to those names, shoot me back an email, and
Mhm.
I can then add that information to our website on this subject.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yes.
That would really be appreciated.
Good. And Norma, I can tell you, you want an ADI accredited organization. So
There
this
you
is
go.
what you look for. You look
Okay.
for an organization, and it's something to be proud of. So you're not going to have to guess. That's going to be one of the things that they're
Great.
definitely going to push to the front. We are an ADI accredited organization. It's a highly coveted accreditation. It's backed by Assistance Dogs International, and they are governed by the American with Disabilities Act. There's a really, really high standards. You can't just go online and take a class and get the vest. I mean, we just had our recent audit from ADI, and boy, oh boy, it took months to prepare. So, but then you're good for 5 years, but it's very important to be an ADI accredited organization. That's how you know if they're good.
Mhm.
See, that is a valuable piece of information
Very
for
valuable.
us that truly, truly need a
Mhm.
service dog.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. And I know that
Yes.
Heather has also said that there are other locations. She's located in Arizona. Thank you, Heather, for adding that. And Sonia, thank you for adding the website over in our notes. We'll capture that information. And then Tina also mentions that there's an article in the Synapse, in a previous Synapse, about the service dog. So you can go to our website. There you go. She's holding it up for you. What's the there?
It's the spring, summer of 2022.
There you go. So you guys can go to our website. You can download that, or you can read it there online. So that's all really wonderful information. Does anybody else have any other questions for Ms. Chrissy?
I saw something come up. It said, is there any way to talk to someone? But I didn't see the rest of the question.
Okay, I don't see that
Okay. So
on
you
mine.
can,
A private message to you.
our website is duodogs.org. And so going on our website is we have a pretty nice web page now set up that will answer a lot of questions. But you can also call us 314-997-2325. It's Duo Dogs Incorporated.